When people hear RevOps, I feel like they only think of sales and marketing and kind of neglect customer success. And especially now, like we don't all have $100 million in funding. Like you need customer success. You need to retain your customers. So how often are they neglected? And then also how important are they as part of that kind of revenue triangle?
Yeah. So I completely agree with you. I think even if they are included in the charter of the team, they get the least amount of love. And the main reason for that, especially at a growing company, is new business is the lifeblood of the company. People really focus on instrumenting and understanding how the company acquires new logos. And then all of a sudden they wake up a couple of years later and like, I have no idea how we upsell, downsell, churn, retain our customers. And so we see this a lot actually at Beacon where I am now, where it's just like people are not really sure how renewals work, right? No one ever spent time thinking about how to even instrument or put systems in place for running renewals. And so I do think it's really important for the ops leader at a company to make sure that the loudest voice in the room, usually sales, does not get all of the attention, right? And so spending that time with any post-sale team, but not just CS, but support, account management, implementation, they need that same level of process and structure and tooling to help them support, whatever the day in the life of the folks on those teams look like. Other team that I would add to that, Dustin, and I think most commonly you're exactly right. It's usually marketing, sales, and customer success are kind of like the stereotypical teams that a RevOps team will support. Think about how many go-to-market meetings you've been in that product hasn't even been in the room, right? And like, that's the other thing that I talk about with RevOps folks is who's helping product, right? Like, who is supporting that team? Who's thinking about product ops? Who's thinking about the plumbing from your product back into Salesforce or your CRM or whatever, so that your salespeople and your post-sale folks know exactly how your customers are using the product, right? Who's thinking about the decisions that are being made when you have this new freemium model and then there's all this like treasure trove of data that no one has access to? And so I would just add that, it scares me a little bit when the breadth of RevOps gets too wide. But I do think that there are a bunch of teams right now that don't have any relationship with their product team. And I think that's something that people should like be mindful of and think about when they're in those important go-to-market meetings. Like, hey, like somebody from product should probably be here.
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting one, because as a marketer who has tried to implement Pendo and wire everything myself, it is a hell of a lot more complicated to do that stuff than almost anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good point. But maybe people, unless you're a pure PLG company, they probably hear the revenue in RevOps and just completely blank and don't even include product.